It's the Redirect Podcast. Search industry research, discussion, and analysis from the Black Truck Media and Marketing Headquarters. And now, redirecting you to the Black Truck team.
And here we are again for another edition of the Redirect Podcast. This is episode number 3. It's Jason from Black Truck Media and Marketing. I'm joined by Patrick and Ashley again this week. And we're going to jump right in and talk about search industry trends and some things that maybe we learned over the week. I just got back from the Inbounder World Tour. I was out there on Monday in New York. That's an event that was put on by Gianluca. And wanted to share with you guys kind of some I guess more or less trends. I don't want to get into like complete details on like in-depth analysis of everyone's slide decks and things like that, but I think it's more helpful that you guys get to hear about trends and things that really stood out to me, and I think individuals listening to the podcast will probably find value in that as well. So one thing that I really found interesting was a lot of discussion around machine learning, AI. So more so, let's talk about machine learning and the less emphasis being placed on mobile first, right? It seems like over the past year and a half, we keep talking about mobile first, and now everything is very much this whole focus on machine learning and what Google's doing, and fast forward, here we are. So Mike King, a lot of people know him on Twitter as iPullRank. I think Mike's a really good technical SEO. And Mike had a lot of really good things to share in terms of like kind of top level reminders, like AI is not machine learning. Like there's subsets in there. And so it almost goes like machine learning could also be known as a derivative of AI, which then you have deep learning or deep knowledge that is a subset thereafter. So we kind of went pretty deep in that whole discussion. But the biggest things that I pulled out of it were the thoughts on supervised versus unsupervised learning in machine learning. So supervised learning might be kind of like a Pandora or a Spotify, and Patrick, you and I might have talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. So you start off with a genre. So for instance, my wonderful PM Dawn Pandora channel that I like, that's this great like late 80s, early 90s R&B soul mixed with hip hop all of a sudden now. You set it off in a path and in a direction, and then it supposedly starts to learn. But the only way that it learns is by supervision from you, the user, by thumbing up, thumbing down, skipping tracks, not skipping tracks, that type of thing. So it starts to learn more and more about what your likes are. I don't know if I can't remember, since I'm not a huge Spotify user yet. Is Spotify that way too, Patrick? You're a Spotify user.
It recognizes the genre that you're listening to, the style of music by the band. You have the ability to check a song that you like it.
Okay.
Recently, they rolled out a new feature that I have since deactivated because I didn't quite care for it. It was too Pandora-ish, where at the end of your selected playlist, it would just keep playing music based on what was coming out of that playlist, and then at that point you could thumbs up or thumbs down it to help teach it.
So like a la like Amazon-esque people who also bought bought this, or you're more likely to buy.
I turned that feature off because I play a playlist because I like that playlist, and they didn't give any kind of notation as to when that it switched over from playlist to their guessing. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden it was like, wait, I don't recognize this song. And I look back and my 2-hour playlist ended 3 hours ago. So I turned it off because I didn't care for it. It wasn't going down the path I liked for it. And it was just like Pandora. And I stopped using Pandora because I liked the way Spotify worked better.
So it's interesting that you Yeah, no, that's interesting because it ties really in closely with I think where Mike was going with his whole discussion, and it was around, and I was probably tweeting at random about it during the event, but is your brand prepared for the fallout from machine learning? Meaning, like chatbots. Chatbots are really great, especially for those products and services that are highly customer service intensive. Frequently asked questions can quickly be turned into chatbot answers before maybe you or I in the customer service realm take over. But like, what happens if it provides you with bad feedback or bad answers? There's certain news organizations and publications out there that have like machine learning or algorithms that are powering headlines, and that's where you get some of these maybe vulgar headlines and things that come out that just aren't it's not fake news by any chance, it's just the machine screwed up.
A couple nights ago I read an article, I think it was Vox, how Instagram's Explore tab is taking over the world. I mean, it's a glorified title, but it's basically saying, I know you two are Instagram users. I don't know how much you go into the Explore tab.
More and more, I have been using it now.
And mine circulates, my usage of Instagram as far as visual liking goes around three things: woodworking, fitness, and like outdoor camping kind of stuff. And depending what I'm in the mood for, what I happen to start clicking on the next day, it's more heavily influenced on that. Like, I've been looking at fitness stuff lately, and so right now my Explore tab is really heavily with the fitness stuff. And over the weekend, if I like start trying to explore woodworking, it'll all be woodworking the next day.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've noticed that for me too, but for me, it keeps saying, it says the recommended for you on the Explore tab. Sometimes I get that, and it's always here, like it'll tell you like the category that it's recommending to you.
I don't get that.
That's what it's done for me lately, and it says hair braiding. I have never looked up anything about hair braiding on Instagram.
Your hair is too short to
braid. And my hair is too short to braid. So I don't know where that's coming from, but
interesting.
Yeah.
So I use that too, the recommended for you, and maybe that's the initial approach to the Explore tab. And mine is, as you know, is very much old World War II car stuff. Not so much on kids things, because I think Instagram does a good job at actually filtering that stuff out. But it's certainly that, and then marketing related type items. But recently I've noticed I had made mention to someone in like a back channel conversation, so a private message on Instagram, that I might be interested someday in owning like a 29 to a 32 Ford Roadster. And now I see a lot of potential like photos of carcasses of 29 Model A Roadsters that are for sale. So I do think it's interesting that technology exists. I don't think anybody has the true answer as to how to take advantage of that yet from a marketer's perspective.
And it's all going to be, too, in that instance with the tool of Instagram, it's how deeply you use it and how many taps to view you're going at, and like where you're pausing and what you're looking at and how much time you're spending on those categories. And a lot of it, too, is related around hashtags. If you're looking at these images, and many of them have shared hashtags, that's what they're getting their data off of.
Interesting.
It's a really good point. Well, I guess to wrap that whole thought up, that whole conversation up, was really, machine learning is great. We're just starting. Like that is where we're at right now. I mean, it's actually been around for quite a while, but from the PR side of it and like the digital communications and potential crisis management that might come out of that, like I think having machine learning and maybe a chat bot or something like that being a part of your strategic communications plan is great. But companies also need to understand, like, holy hell, like, what are we gonna do if, like, that's the proverbial robots taking over. Like, the robot taking over is the robot screwing up because it maybe wasn't supervised properly.
But then it's an interesting aspect of that is how much of the blame is the company itself going to get if they can just blame it on the robots too. That's just a whole different twist on it.
The robots are getting their initial seeds from the company, though.
Yeah.
So the company has to program the initial go
That's
button.
true.
Yeah.
And it's still up to the company.
But
to
from
monitor.
there,
it's still up to tweak it. You just let it. You set it and forget it for like a couple days.
Yeah.
Then you come back and tweak. And then you let it run for maybe 4 days.
I think it's interesting. We'll
Right.
we'll see where it goes. But anyways, I'd say go ahead and share. Let's talk about what you guys read this week too.
Well, I was geeking out this afternoon reading a piece from Miriam Ellis at Moz. Article called "Location Data and Reviews: The 1-2 Punch of Local SEO."
You totally stole my topic.
Yes.
It's a good thing I have more.
Well, we can go back and forth, but I was just geeking out the whole time I was reading this because a lot of these, just a lot of the ideas that she covers have been floating around in my head. Because as we know, like the reviews themselves may not necessarily influence search rankings, but although she does cover that it looks like it's kind of moving in that direction. But I love that she just broke it down so simply that, a company can get found with location data and they get chosen with reviews. And so, if you get found through a user search, but you have 2 stars and the other companies that show up have 5 stars, you're not going to get chosen, and or at least it's quite likely that you won't get chosen, and so then that creates some big opportunities for improvement.
Did she go into great detail? I didn't get all the way through the article because that was published on Monday, I think it was, when I was gone, and I was reading it kind of in newsfeed airport coming back, and I was like, oh yeah, like it was. I think it was very much that. Duh, this makes sense. Mm-hmm. But also, what industry though, right? Like, would you say that are you more likely to do work with an SEO firm that has a 4 or 5 star rating on Google versus one that doesn't? Do you really care? Like, does a Fortune 500 company really place any weight on that? Like, my opinion of the matter is no, they don't. But I think more where she's going with it is your true, air quotes, local business.
Sure.
I think, too, you have to really, like you said, what's the industry and what's the product that's being delivered with that review. People can live and die by the review systems, and at the same time, though, they take it with a grain of salt and understand that, okay, so 3,000 people have made this review and purchased this, but yet it's got a 3.5 star. It's like, okay, what are those negative reviews? Oftentimes it can be like, well, UPS destroyed my box, so I only gave it a 3-star review.
Right.
Well, that has nothing to do with the product.
Right.
Yeah.
Or how often have you read a product that says, or a review that says, I haven't actually received the product yet, but I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Right. So she used the example specifically of looking up tacos in an area. And so there were a couple local restaurants that came up, and then number 3 was Taco Bell. And Taco Bell had 2 stars, the local Taco Bell, compared to the others that had 4, I believe. And so it was a very interesting little breakdown that she did. And one of her points was, maybe bigger companies don't need to worry about this as much because they kind of have their brand established already, but then these reviews really create an opportunity for smaller businesses to compete because they can do more, to scale, to make an impact, to make those reviews be more positive. They can take the feedback and implement it probably more easily. And so it's really she approached it in a way as like a quality control and taking the opportunity to respond and use it as a way to implement changes in your business if you're noticing a lot of trends in the negative reviews that you get.
I think that's good too, and I think that there are those larger corporations that have either franchises, franchisees, you know, A, take note of this, B, what are you going to do about it? I mean, if you're a Domino's Pizza or a Little Caesars or a Jimmy John's,
Yep.
those are a franchise model. I can understand how quickly, you know, as a franchise owner, that I would want to go out and claim my stuff, at least if I was a digitally minded sub shop owner, I would want to go and claim that. But what are the corporate rules of engagement for that? And are they monitoring? Who's monitoring it? What are you doing? How are you encouraging reviews? Like all of that.
Yeah.
How does that? I think that just opens a Pandora's box of
It does.
you better have it together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different levels too that, I mean, we've all seen it through different social media channels. I'm a serial lurker on Reddit, and you see those articles in there where one person had a bad review of something. It's like, hey, here's my experience. All right, Reddit army, go downvote them to All Nation. And next thing you know, you get internet trolls going out there and putting reviews for something that aren't really accurate, and it can totally skew things.
Cruel world.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, I run an after-hours business. When I'm out of my day job here, you know, with the woodworking stuff, on Etsy, I get reviews. And when I first got into that game, you know, I didn't have a lot of reviews yet, so one bad review could totally skew my overall rating.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, I've had roughly 500 sales, and I have 65 reviews. I think I've had maybe 4 4-star reviews, but it's still overall, I have a 5-star rating as a shop. But I have no control of it. I'm looking at a 4-star out of 5-star review right now. This is the entire review that I got 4 out of 5 for. They're beautiful. I purchased them as a gift from my wife, and she loved them.
Yeah.
And I only got 4 out of 5 stars.
Well, I think I take it this way though too, not to get too far off topic. I think this is really good, but there's a difference though, right? And I think it's good that we draw a line in the sand and understand that difference. I'm a local taco shop versus I'm selling online. Doesn't have to be woodworking, it can be anything. Think of eBay, right? I mean, a seller on eBay still wants like, hey bro, give me a good review, like right? Like, oh, A+, would buy from again, the typical canned BS response that I'm going to give you if I, you know, if what you sell me is true and it shows up without dents or dings in it. That's like way different because I never met you, I never interacted anything. Where if I go to like my local Del Taco in Southern California and I'm like, horrible experience, I'm going to rant and rave about it. Versus, you know, locally here in Grand Rapids, Donkey, you know, like, how was my experience? How was the food? Can I comment on it? It takes additional effort because that happened offline to go online and make that review versus the online transaction. It can be very seamless. Yeah. That review becomes very seamless too. So that's a big deal.
And people, you hit the point that people are much more likely to leave a negative review than a positive review too. And she hit on how, you know, a lot of small businesses, well-meaning, will kind of recruit family and friends to leave their first reviews, and that's totally dishonest. And so I think that there's a lot of good stuff that she covered, and it just was. I feel geeky, but it was just like really, it was really exciting to read because it covered a lot of areas that I was really interested in related to reviews, and so
awesome,
good read.
Patrick, what's on your mind this week?
Well, when you were traveling the world,
New York is not the world, but
it's the hub of the world, isn't it?
What they say?
It felt like it. It smelled like it.
Yeah, it smelled like it. Ashley and I here, we jumped in.
Sorry, New York.
On the keynote that was on Tuesday the 23rd about Google Ads, Analytics, DoubleClick, and all the new things that are rolling out with that.
Sweet.
It was an hour-long, jam-packed full of all kinds of stuff.
Was it riveting?
Yeah, there was some nerdery for sure. Yeah, there was easily distracting points where we could kind of stray off, and then it would pull us back in. But it was interesting. They're rolling out a couple new tools and a couple of new reporting points and metrics to look at. One area that I really liked, a new tool called Google Attribution. Mm-hmm. And I don't have all the details on it yet and how it's all going to play out, but it's going to help break us down. I think the guy said on average you touch 5 different devices a day. Or
the average person.
It's a pretty impressive stat. I would believe that, right?
Yeah. So you have 5 different devices or 5 different areas where you're getting fed this information. I think you and I discussed it briefly on Wednesday. Who's getting served what and when?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We're looking like as a Google Analytics user, you have sessions and unique sessions or unique visitors, and where is that data? If like I'm hunting for the same thing, going across several different, from my phone to tablet to the computer to the work computer to the personal computer. Mm-hmm. If I'm still searching for the same thing and it's still weighing on my head, am I being served similar ads across different devices? In the past, the attribution funnel, that PC might get the credit for finally closing the
It's
deal.
always last click. I mean, that's the default is last click. Unless you wanted to go through let's just put it out there, the pain. Most I would say most search marketers understand, whether you sit on the organic or the paid side, the current attribution model or system, so building that model out inside analytics is not an easy process.
No, and they're going to make that. You make it easy now, so you're going to be able to see that in like I said, who's getting served what when.
They give a timeline on that at all?
I think soon. There's a
like Q3 type of
he said in the
2017?
coming months. There's some beta testers out there right now, and then they just said in the coming months. So
Back in 2012, they said that they were going to get rid of spam in analytics too.
Yeah, right. Spam reporting.
It's 2017. So.
Yeah, exactly. So there's definitely room to explore in that. And the biggest thing I thought was in that whole funnel process of who gets the sale, it's going to go back to the beginning.
That's great.
And it's where whoever got the original sale. And again, I don't know, is it going to be the original view or impression, or is it going to be like the average impression? Like, did he see it like 12 times on his phone, or did he see it 6 times on the tablet? Or is he going to be able to break it down and see all those different attributions?
Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm anxious
cool.
for that then.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
There was other different elements in there too that still needs to get weeded out. So if you want to go on to the next one, I can try to go through my
no. I think since Ashley stole my discussion point from Maz, maybe more from the inbounder to share with you guys on what I heard and what I was absorbing from other thought leaders in the search marketing space was Jean-Luc's presentation was very in depth and probably the most like nerdy of all of them. I would have expected more nerdery from like Rand or Mike or someone like that, but he hit 2 things that were very interesting, actually multiple things. So the biggest thing was the news source, and it might be a reminder for us in the search marketing space, like our news or signals of what's going to happen or what's happening shouldn't come from, let's just say, 4 sources, aka the SEM posts, search engine roundtable, search engine watch, like the usuals. Keep in mind at the end of the day, like we should be reading the Google Webmaster blog and the publications and the information that Google puts out, and actually Bing too, right? I mean, we should be keeping up to date on that, because these other outlets are just that. They're news and media and publications, which is probably part of the reason why like we're even having this discussion the way we do, is more like, do we really think that that's legitimate, or what's our take on it? Is that BS? So So that was interesting. But the thing outside of machine learning, which I talked about before, was the whole concept of AMP, or accelerated mobile pages, and everybody like, oh my god, we got to do AMP. I have been a long time being the past year, I guess, subscriber to the notion that I don't think that AMP is right for every site. I think AMP is very well suited for news media outlets, right? Because it's going to be served in a carousel style, especially in a mobile variety at the top of Google. So if you're a major news publication, or even a micro on a local level news publication, you should do that. I've researched it from like Michigan Ski Report's perspective, like, all of our blog post content should be AMP, right? But if you're a manufacturer and you have all of these product pages, like I question whether or not the time and financial investment you have to make in the development to make AMP happen on all of your product pages, I think is, I don't know if I want to make the statement that it's a complete waste of time and resources, but in all reality, I don't know as if that's a really good use of that spend, especially when we know if you do a search for, name your widget, what are those
Fidget
damn
spinners?
fidget spinners, I mean, what's going to get served up? You're going to get shopping ads are going to get served up, AMP ads or AMP pages. I even hate saying that because AMP is accelerated mobile pages, so I'm saying accelerated mobile pages, but
right.
You're going to get ads, AMP, then organic, other organic listings. Well, if you're selling them, you're probably going to want to rank really well organically, obviously, but then at the same time, like, probably transactionally, I want to have some shopping ads in there as well. Like, I want to have a good mix. So, anyways, where Gianluca was going with it is the approach of, are we going to see the increase in PWAs, or progressive web apps? So an example of a PWA would be an app like Flipboard, where it can operate on your device in the background offline. Like it loads a certain amount, you're able to see it, you're able to read data and things like that. But if you want to get more, it will go to the actual article or pull that data in. Feedly would probably fall in that role too. So there's certain amount of interaction and data that can be pulled in already offline and waiting for you. But if you want more, it has to connect and it has to go somewhere and pull that in. So I think we're going to see, based off of what he was saying, is like the direction of that going. So I think it's very interesting how everything is shifted. We still have a mobile focus, but our mobile focus is now on this segment, right. The AMP versus PWA fight, and then back to my original point on machine learning versus mobile ready. I mean, again, if you're not mobile ready in 2017 and you're not thinking that, I don't care what you're selling, like that, you're just missing. That's just missing the boat. So I found that to be really, really interesting stuff. And I guess the last point on that in closing is that Gianluca made a good point about so many individuals trying to gauge and track what Google's doing next. They're basing it off of patents and patent applications that they pull. When in reality, instead of chasing patents, what we should be looking at is the actual papers and studies that Google's involved in and that they publish, because that's beyond a patent at that point. That's information that they're actually investing time and monetary resources into what's happening with that data or for data collection. So it's almost like, the patent's there, but screw the patent. What are we writing about? What are they actually documenting? What are they doing with said technology? Because that's probably a really straight up indication of where things are going. So hats off to him. I thought that was a really great connection point. Yeah. So yeah. Anybody have anything else they want to share?
I have just a little one here. speaking of how we shouldn't get all of our information from certain sites, but this is from SEMrush, a blog from Dan Taylor, and he was just talking about the signals of a quality web page, which, as SEOs, we're pretty much aware of these, but he was talking about the EAT signals, the expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, and broke that down a little bit. I thought it was a good quick read. The one part that stuck out to me most was he was talking about how people seem to be obsessed with the concept of having at least 500 words on a page, and we were just
Yeah.
talking about this a little bit with a client about a client's project earlier today, and this was following the Panda algorithm, and he says the truth is that you need to write as much content as is needed that sufficiently answers a user query, whether this is 100 words, 5,000 words, or 2 words. So I thought that was kind of a refreshing statement, and it makes sense to me. Obviously, you want to give your users as much information as possible, but rather than meeting a word count, just making sure that you're just satisfying what they're looking for.
Yeah, I wish there was a way for the machine learning to recognize fluff content versus legit content. Like the industry you were working on before our meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about, man, every brand is the biggest, the best, and the most innovative.
Yeah.
They all are. So
it's all. I mean, at the end. I mean, and we can talk about it a little bit more in depth, but it was specific to the marine industry, and it's every boat manufacturer is high quality. Every boat model is spacious, and every boat model has ample amounts of storage. Well, that's all BS at the end of the day. If they all have it, right, then should we just go look at every boat manufacturer and be like, I don't know, honey, this one doesn't have an ample amount of storage. I mean, come on, that's really, But at the same standpoint, like I get where he's going with it, but that content, and this is probably going to throw it back in your court, Ashley, as more content-centric thinking. It still needs to be well structured, right?
Yes.
I mean, throw 300 words on a page or throw 100 words on the page, and if they're all in one blob, and it looks like garbage, there's nobody that's going to read that, right? So, regardless of a search engine reading or not and finding relevancy,
you got to make it useful for and not just useful, but accessible and interesting to the people who land on the page. Yeah.
No, that's good. Awesome. Well, guys, we're about out of time on this, so I say we're going to go ahead and close this one out for this week. So coming up, we're going to be at Search Love Boston. We actually, in about a week, we fly out. So we'll see if we can take the show on the road, pack the mic up, and we're talking about maybe finding a bar or coffee shop to record in next week.
We can do it from the USS Constitution.
Oh, that would be cool. I don't know. So stay tuned to find out, and we'll catch you on the next Redirect podcast. Thanks for listening.
This has been the Redirect Podcast. Check out the show notes at blacktruckmedia.com and add us on iTunes and Stitcher.